Hello YouTube, Ben here with another Voxel Engine update. I've made a few major improvements on the last version of the engine that I'd like to share with you. First things first, you'll notice the biome I'm standing in is no longer a forest, it's actually a grassland. Grassland is one of the 13 different biomes I have distributed across the land. You will notice that there are lots of different trees in the biome. Each biome has its own specific color gradient for the grass and its own tree populations. There are, I think, 13 different breeds of trees as well that spawn in each biome. And they are based off of 3 base types: deciduous tree, jungle tree, or evergreen tree. The trees that you see here, let me raise the sun, are deciduous trees. We have medium, small, and large deciduous trees here, but there are lots more to show you. Biomes are calculated based on 2 factors: temperature and rainfall. And the temperature and rainfall is spread pretty thinly across the land, meaning that you will have very large areas of high rainfall and very large areas of low rainfall. So the biomes themselves are pretty big. But this is very easy to change, and the user can actually change the frequency of the temperature and rainfall themselves. So if they like really close together biomes, they can up the frequency, and then you'll have deserts next to jungles, pretty much whatever you want. You can go nuts with it. But yeah, I'll show you more of the trees later when we go to the forest. I do want to show you water, and you're going to have to excuse the lag. I'm running Fraps on a laptop this time, and it's giving me a few patches of stuttering lag. I'm not sure why, but in future videos I'll try to run it off of the desktop. You'll notice that water has a much more appealing look to it. I'm using a normal map texture that kind of wiggles and moves around and makes it look pretty cool now. Looks a little more realistic. Also, water, still volumetric, is 100 units of depth per voxel instead of 10 units of depth. So there are basically 100 different water levels that you can have per block. Anyways, so it's a lot more fun to play around with. It's a little faster because I pretty much redid the algorithm, and it ended up being a very good change because now I can simulate a ridiculous amount of water physics with little to no lag. The only lag being the geometry used to draw the water, because once you flood an entire world it gets a little bit messy. But I'll kind of illustrate that now. I'll just spawn a whole bunch of water off of this tree, and you will notice that let me pop the FPS. FPS is staying at 42, as it has been throughout the duration of this video. And you can do pretty much anything you want with water. But yeah, we're lagging now, but I'm sure that's because of Fraps and not. Yeah, I don't really understand what the deal is with the lag. But anyways, playing with water's a lot of fun. Let's get rid of all this. There we go. And it will spread out as far as it can go. It'll evaporate. Transparency increases as the water level decreases. So you'll notice this thick area of water is a fairly dark blue, and this very thin area of water is light. I know it looks laggy, but trust me, it normally isn't without Fraps running. Alright, I'll go ahead and show you guys what the biomes look like from above. As you can see, where I spawned is a light green color. That would be the grassland. And a little bit to the east, I think, we have dark green, which is deciduous forest. Beyond that, light green is jungle. It's pretty cool stuff. Jungle is actually very similar to what you've already seen before. We have deserts over here, savanna, cold plains, tundra. Tundra's pretty fun. We got taiga up there somewhere, I'm sure. Yeah, there's a bunch of biomes. We got swamps, and I think there is a redwood forest over there somewhere that I can probably show you guys. Made a few changes with the colors, as you can see. I did a smooth gradient from biome to biome to make it look a bit more realistic, and you can also tell that there's sand on the beaches now, on the LODs. This is a deciduous forest. The trees are generally have ball-shaped leaves and have pretty wide trunks, and they're not very branchy, but there are a few long branches on some of the larger trees. I'd also like you to notice the fade-in that I applied. I really didn't like the tree line before. It was just such a hard cutoff into the LOD land, so I just added a bit of a fade effect that would be applied to any chunks kind of on the edge of the world. And because of this, whenever you are moving in a specific direction, you no longer see the chunks, well, generally, except for large trees, you no longer see the chunks popping into view as much. And I think that brings a little more immersion to the game and makes things flow a lot better. I'll fly you over the jungle and show you that now. This is the jungle biome. It's pretty much what you've already seen before. The trees are generally the same. There's a few changes to the smaller trees, and the canopies are a little different, but other than that, it's about what you've already seen. Grass color is a bit different, but in general, the jungle is the most GPU intensive because there's a bit more geometry to it. Alright, let me show you the taiga now. I'll fly over there. This is the Taiga Biome. The trees that make up taiga are all evergreen, and taiga is a cold region, so it occurs very often on mountains. Elevation actually does decrease temperature, so that's why when you look at mountains, the majority of the time they have ice caps, especially that big one over there. It's pretty much all I have to show you. Let me show you the redwood trees. Those are kind of cool looking. Okay, so these are my redwood trees. They were more of an experiment at the start, but they ended up looking pretty cool, so I think I'm going to keep them in the game and make them their own biome, although chopping down one of these trees would be quite tedious. Right now they are deciduous trees. I'll probably want to convert them to a type of conifer kind of tree. I guess you could say an evergreen. And yeah, I guess that's about it to show you guys. Thanks for watching. In future updates, I'll be trying to have different colored leaves on each tree, and I want to add bombs pretty soon. So stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and like.